Hey guys, in this video I wanted to go over whether or not the interference effect is something that powerlifters, bodybuilders really have to worry about. The interference effect is essentially this idea that performing any sort of aerobic work in conjunction with your weight training is going to result in maladaptation. You're going to lose all your gains or really not make any gains because you're doing cardio. And this can be a thing, but it's not really something that most people need to be worried about, and this is mostly due to time constraints. So the amount of cardio you would have to do in general to really have an impact on your muscle growth and your strength would have to be a lot. It would have to be, several miles, higher intensity stuff. We're talking team sports, we're talking sprinting, we're talking skiing, stuff like that, multiple times per week, lots of volume with that. That's probably going to have more of an impact on your muscle growth and your strength gains. However, what most people do in bodybuilding and in powerlifting is steps and maybe some zone 2 cardio. That is stuff that is really not going to interfere that much with your muscle and strength gains. In fact, one meta-analysis found that which basically a meta-analysis, for those of you who don't know, where they take a lot of different research on a certain topic and they compile it all in one review to basically say, okay, based off of the current literature, what are the reasonable conclusions that we can have based on the evidence as to the likelihood of X being Y. They found that concurrent aerobic and strength training does not compromise muscle hypertrophy and maximal strength development. However, explosive strength gains may be attenuated, especially when aerobic and strength training are performed in the same session. These results appear to be independent of the type of aerobic training, frequency of concurrent training, or training status, and age. So that basically means that if you're trying to build muscle and get stronger, the interference effect really isn't really going to be that impacting. But if you're trying to work on like your vertical jump, or you're doing Olympic weightlifts like the snatch, clean jerk, etc., you're probably going to have more of an impact on actual outcomes in that power range. For those who don't know, like powerlifting should be called force lifting. It's not really power. Speed isn't really a part of the sport. It's just about maximal force development. But I digress. Essentially, when you dig through the individual studies on the interference effect, you'll essentially find that the interference effect increases in a dose, response manner. So the more cardio that you do, the higher intensity is, more of an interference effect. The lower intensity, the less you do of it, less of an interference effect. So just have some common sense. If you want to incorporate cardio in your program, you absolutely can. Again, there's a lot of health benefits that are going to help out with your performance. It probably has the potential to keep you a little bit leaner because it keeps certain metabolic pathways active that help you burn fat and increase nutrient partitioning where you want it, so it's going more towards muscle tissue instead of fat. But the reality is that you don't need to worry about this that much, and especially if you space out your aerobic training by about say 4 to 6 hours away from your weight training. Most of the studies on this have really found that basically negates the interference effect a lot. So just be smart about it. If you're getting your steps, 10,000 steps, you shouldn't have really any issues. My personal thing is I found that 20,000 steps tends to be like a good upper limit for step count. People that might be getting that are like waiters or people that work very active jobs. And then with like cardio, like say you could do zone 2 cardio every day for like 20 minutes, and you won't have any real impact as long as you build up to that, because your bodies will adapt, especially if you keep that a little bit further away from training. Now, if you are getting stronger, you might find, or getting more muscular, you might find that the amount of cardio that you can do is less in terms of like recovery. So just keep an eye on your recovery, on how you're feeling. If your legs are starting to feel excessively heavy, you're feeling tired all the time, this is systemic like fatigue all the time, it just doesn't go away. You're noticing it's harder for you to get stronger because of the cardio that you've added. Maybe you've added it too much, too fast. Maybe pull back a little bit. But again, I think as long as you have it within a reasonable range, say 2 to 3 zone 2 cardio sessions per week, 20 to 30 minutes, you're getting 10 to 20K steps a day. You are staying on top of your diet, your sleep, etc. You're training in an intelligent manner. The interference effect isn't really something that most people need to worry about. So hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, ask down below.